You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday, happy Moon Day, and welcome to the Lionsgate portal. We're going to be breaking down this spiritually potent day, talk about the history of it, the astrology behind it, maybe some transits you might not be aware of that coincide with the Lionsgate portal. And of course, today is 8/8/2022. So we'll talk about the numerology of the number 8, how it all combines. And of course, we're leading up to a full moon as well this Thursday. So the energy is building. The moon has moved into Capricorn now, and we're going to chat about all of it. So get comfortable, get ready to get a little woo-woo, because the Lionsgate portal is definitely woo-woo. We have lots of people here already. Corby is here. Diane is here. Oh my goodness. Diane says, I woke up this morning to a huge crack in my ceiling just above my bed. Interesting. Some potent dreams maybe causing a crack in your physical reality. I don't know. Oh, thank you. I chose royal blue today, Rachel, because the Lionsgate portal is associated with Sirius, the Sirius star system. And when you get into the very woo-woo concept of star seeds, Sirians from the Sirius star system are associated with royalty. So that was a long explanation for why I'm wearing blue, but that's why I chose this shirt today. Yeah, the Aquarius full moon on Thursday. This Aquarius rising over here that I live with is going to be feeling himself under that full moon. Aw, thanks, Rose. Okay, so let's jump into the energy of today. Just a brief snapshot. The sun is in Leo, part of the reason why we call this the Lionsgate portal, because Leo energy is very potent right now, and the moon is now in Capricorn. So we'll talk about what it means when the moon's in Capricorn. We're making our way towards that full moon in Aquarius. The next few days, as far as the moon goes, feel like this transition period. But on to the fun stuff. 8/8, the Lionsgate portal. We're going to dive deep into it. As we're talking about it, feel free to share any insights, ask any questions you might have. So the Lionsgate portal, we talked about it back on July 26th. That's when it technically opens. The portal opens, and it lasts through the end of the week, through August 12th. So this full moon is supercharged by the Lionsgate portal as well. July 26th is an important date, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. So if you were here, this is a little bit of a refresher. But July 26th is the new year on the Mayan calendar and on the Egyptian calendar, because both calendars actually used Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. We're going to be talking a lot about Sirius as a reference point. And when Sirius rose above the horizon, when they could see Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, they recognized that as a rebirth, a new year. And in Egypt, Sirius can actually be seen in the middle of the ancient pyramids of Giza. So there's a lot of synchronicities that pop up when we talk about Sirius. But 8/8 is kind of the modern recognition of the Lionsgate portal, because it's such a potent day, because of the 8, the power of the number 8, which we'll also get into. But this is something, a time of year that cultures have celebrated abundance for thousands of years, ancient cultures in ancient Egypt, the Nile would flood right around this time, right around the Lionsgate portal, and when Sirius rose above the horizon. We can actually see Sirius just before dawn now. So I'll also give you a little refresher on 7/7. We talked about Sirius as well because the sun was conjunct Sirius on 7/7. Sirius is at 14 degrees Cancer, and it's a fixed star, so Sirius does not move. And on 7/7, we talked about this conjunction. We talked a little bit about Sirian energy, but we couldn't see Sirius yet because anytime a star or a constellation or a planet is conjunct the sun, it's too bright. The sun, the sun's rays block it out. Now that Sirius is, or the sun, I should say, has pulled away from Sirius, we can see Sirius just before dawn, just before the sun comes up above the horizon. And that's why this was such a powerful time and why ancient cultures revered Sirius so much, because they could actually see it this time of year. And I believe in ancient Egypt, Sirius was representative of the goddess Isis, which was associated with abundance as well. So there's a lot of abundance we're going to be talking about today. And let me know as we're talking about this, does the energy feel potent for you? Have you been having breakthroughs or realizations? Because spiritually, that's what this time of year is known for. Maybe some downloads coming through, even psychic abilities being heightened. So yeah, ancient cultures have been definitely observing this time as a time of abundance. This is for many, many, many thousands of years. But let's go into the spirituality of the Lionsgate portal. So, New Age spirituality, I don't even like to call it New Age spirituality because a lot of these concepts have been around for a really long time. It's just now we're in the era of technology where we're all talking about them and becoming more aware of them. But the Lionsgate portal, this time between July 26th and August 12th, specifically 8/8, is known to bring rapid ascension, an ascension in consciousness. We can clearly see Sirius, and by observing the sun, by observing Sirius in the morning sky, we can kind of get these downloads. You might have heard of light codes before, and it's said that right now the light codes are especially potent because we can see Sirius aligned with the sun, very close to the sun, and the sun's aligned with Orion's belt, which is right next to Sirius in the night sky. And then, of course, we have the sun in Leo, which is a very abundant, heart-centered time. So all of these energies combined really make it a time to tap into our heart and be open to receive different information that's coming through. Sirius has also been given names like the spiritual sun, the God star, because it's the brightest star in the sky, and it's associated with potent spiritual truths that can be downloaded just by observing it or just by being open to them. Now, we're going to get a little more woo for a second. We talked about star seeds, Sirius being, or Sirians being a species of star seeds that came from the Sirius star system. Some believe the Sirians came to Earth. They're associated with ancient Egypt. They are often portrayed as blue people. Again, why I chose blue today. And many believe that the Sirians came to Earth to help us, to help this war-torn world. You can get into the mythology of Sirius as well, and Sirius A and B, there are two Sirius stars in the star system, and there's mythology that goes that they were fighting each other, and because they were able to find peace, now they've come to Earth to help us find peace. Lots of different rabbit holes you can fall down with that. So if you're feeling especially called to learn more about Sirius or Sirians, maybe you feel like, I feel oddly resonant or familiar with this story or this concept, maybe you are a Sirian starseed. My friend Kat just launched a full 8-day workshop on the Lionsgate portal. It's a series, and it's still open today if you're interested. You can just go to crystalrising.com. But she talks about how her son, she believes, is a Sirian starseed. And when he was a baby, this man from, I think, Africa or somewhere else in the world reached out to her and said, your son is Sirian. He will have this bump behind his ear, and that denotes that he's Sirian. And she checked, and surely he had a bump behind his ear. So if you have a weird protrusion behind your ear, look into it. I don't like to say you are Siri and anything is fact, because the journalist in me likes to question everything. But if it resonates, it resonates. And maybe it unlocks something for you during this Lionsgate portal, this knowing, this deeper resonance with your alien starseed lineage. Who knows? We're all on our own unique spiritual journey here, right? But many people believe that the Sirians are a species of starseeds that came here to help the Earth, and maybe are still here. Who knows? Who knows? But like I said, Sirians are associated with royalty, adding this element of wealth, abundance, manifestation, on top of the 8-8 numerology, and on top of Leo season being associated with royalty as well, right? So today's a day to feel like a king or a queen. Just really put that crown on. And speaking of the crown, right, because we're talking about royalty, really open your crown chakra. Opening your crown, doing things, you could even listen to sound healing meditation that helps you open your crown, go into meditation, even just envision light coming in through your head. That can help you open to any information, downloads, psychic abilities that maybe you want to receive or be open to. And also, abundance can come from opening your crown right now. So just felt called to tie in the crown chakra to the royalty element to this. Okay, but here's something you probably won't hear from anybody else talking about the Lionsgate portal. I haven't heard anybody else talking about this. And that is the fact that Sirius at 14 degrees Cancer is conjunct to Lilith. So let me pull up the chart here. You won't see Sirius on this chart because most astrology calculators don't include Sirius, but you can find the Sirius location through a Google search, and Sirius is at 14 degrees Cancer. So you can see Lilith is currently at 12 degrees. Lilith will move to 13 degrees in the next day or two. Either way, it's a close conjunction. So what does this mean? What does this mean for us that Sirius is conjunct Lilith? Two stars / points in the solar system that don't really get a whole lot of coverage, right? Well, we're going to talk about them for just a moment. So Lilith is the dark moon, the black moon, and Lilith isn't a planet. It's a point along the moon's orbit that's the farthest away from Earth. So in astrology, Lilith represents what's been hiding in the shadows, what's been repressed, what's been hidden. And we talk a lot about the biblical origin of Lilith being Adam's first wife created by God. She wanted to be an equal. She refused to submit to Adam and was cast aside, and in the Bible written as, this rebellious whore, essentially. And now in modern times, we've reclaimed Lilith as this representation of the divine feminine that will not be quieted, that will not be repressed, that wants to rise up and claim her sovereignty and claim her power. And we've been talking a lot about Lilith in Cancer because right when Lilith moved into Cancer this year, we saw women's rights, or reproductive rights, I should say, enter center stage again. And Lilith in Cancer has kind of been guiding that theme. So with Lilith being conjunct Sirius during the Lionsgate portal, here's how I see this playing out, or what this means for us. Lilith being that part of us that has been repressed, Sirius being the brightest star in the sky, when they merge like this, I see this awakening the divine feminine. Many of the divine feminine archetypes out there, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine, but I really see this awakening the divine feminine in a lot of people, or allowing us to realize the power of the divine feminine, because it feels to me like Sirius just supercharges anything that it's aligned with, anything that it touches. And I can see a lot of women especially, or anyone who really identifies with the divine feminine, kind of awakening during this time. It can be a really potent moment to recognize our own power. And I think this portal is opening that recognition of our ability to take control, to assert ourselves, to step up as leaders of the new earth or the next generation. So this feels like a really powerful moment specifically for the divine feminine, but really for all the parts of us, feminine or masculine, that have been repressed or shut down. This is a time to open ourselves to those things. Let them be expressed. Let them come up. Let them come out, because the more we hold on to this darkness, this density, the harder it is for us to rise in consciousness. And this is a potent time today and over the next week where we can collectively ascend in consciousness. So, you know, it might be like shining a light on the parts of us that have been hiding. Maybe the parts of us that are very powerful that we've been repressing, we don't want to let out. You know, I just recently, I can't remember where I heard it, but maybe it was in Beyonce's new album. Who knows? I've been listening to that nonstop. Speaking of Lilith energy, that album is, but anyway, side note there. I recently heard something about how women, especially like pretty women, which all women are beautiful, let me just say that, but sometimes we hold back, or we're not loud, we're not as, I guess loud is the right word, but we don't express our power because we don't want to be too much. This is a time to be too much, okay? Like, be a lot, be all of you, let it all out. It's a Leo season, for God's sake. Like, just be your wild, abundant self. And anything you've been hiding or holding back, this is the time to let it out. Lilith is conjunct Sirius during the Lionsgate portal. This is a time to reclaim your power, to express your power, and sometimes our power is part of our darkness too. And Jess just said today, I wanted to embrace my repressed dark feminine as a Scorpio moon here too, Jess. And Leo rising. Oh, Leo season for you is all about your debut as the next version of yourself if you're a Leo rising. So if the sun hasn't crossed over your ascendant yet, it likely will soon. And this is a time to step into the next version of yourself, Jess. And I love that you were already attuned to this. Like, the next version of me is going to show the dark feminine. And the dark feminine doesn't have to be, it's not bad, right? It's not like, oh, it's so dark. It's so like me. Like, I almost hear the word like mean or like, you know, overpowering. The dark feminine is just, think about our womb. Our womb is a dark space. It's our power center. It's where creation is born. Darkness is powerful. You know this as a Scorpio moon, right? And for all of us watching right now, this is a time to ask, what have we been hiding in the darkness? What power are we holding back? This is the time to express it, to let it come alive. Yeah, a sense of learning from each other. That is definitely coming up with the Aquarius full moon. And we'll talk more about that because Aquarius is the sign of the collective, right? What are we learning from each other? But also, with this Lionsgate portal happening during the Aquarius full moon, I really believe right now, especially, I always believe this, but right now, especially, any information that's coming into your awareness, whether it's through this live stream, whether it's through a random conversation you have, whether it's through something you just happen to hear in a song or read in a book, it's really being placed on your path right now for an important reason. So yes, learning from each other. Denise says more realizations than ever. Bailey says it's been a wild day already. I believe it. Happy 8/8 to you. Yeah, love that encouragement to be too much, uninhibited and authentic. I am often asking myself, am I being too much right now? Am I like too much for other people? Am I being too loud? And yes, it's good to be mindful, right? We don't just want to be like, oh, all the time. But I think especially as women, we are told to be quiet, to be meek, be kind, be supportive, you know, kind of, we're taught and represented as that in a lot of media and how we're raised. And we're entering a new era where women are leaders. We are loud, we are proud, you know, and this feels like a really potent moment and an auspicious moment to own that power, to own the feminine power, as Lilith is playing a big role in this Lionsgate portal. And I'm just, you know, I love that if you have not listened to Beyonce's new album yet, talk about a way to awaken your feminine power. I'm obsessed with Beyonce. She's also a Virgo with a Scorpio moon. So, you know, I have my own reasons for being obsessed with her. But this album, I've been telling everybody, it's like, you know, typical Beyonce amazingness mixed with spirituality. She talks about psychics. She talks about being comfortable in your skin, owning your power, all of these things. Then there's like a dance, tribal element to it. If you just need a pump up song, yes, go listen to Renaissance by Beyonce. I promise you'll love it. People stop watching as I'm like doing a Beyonce commercial here. That's okay. I'm being loud and proud about my love of Beyonce. Oh, Bailey says, went to an interview for a new job and I left thinking, was this even an interview? The lady literally cried. And it was a total healing moment and conversation with this girl. She had such a desire for people to know human to human that we're all seen. It was beautiful. And I'm feeling this feminine mama energy. And that is the power of the feminine too, right? Being able to hold space for other people's emotions. Being able to be that like solid person, because you know you're going to need that solid person at some point when you're the one having the healing moment. Wow. Well, it sounds like you had a powerful connection. So hopefully that works in your favor for this new job. I think it will. Rachel says, I saw a TikTok a week ago about the stigma of how women are always seeking attention, but in reality, attention is medicine. It's healing. Speaking your truth can be so healing. Wow, I love that perspective. You know, and there's a difference between seeking like shallow attention, like look at me, and just wanting to be seen in our authentic truth. And this is a time to be seen, you know, to really express things that are authentic, that feel like they're coming from your heart, they're coming from your soul. That's not attention seeking. That's just being true to yourself. And if people don't resonate with that, they're not your people, right? Katie says, my 5-year-old daughter has been displaying her power a lot today. I always say kids are more tapped into the energy. This helps me support her and give her grace. She is part of the collective and the future too. And you're raising someone, a beautiful human who can express her emotions safely, right? And know that it's okay to feel these powerful emotions. And it's okay, you know, a lot of us were raised like, you're being too much, right? Like, why are you angry? If you do that again, we're going to take this away. And so we learned that it was not safe to express those emotions. She's so lucky to have you. Please tell me about my present and future. You can book a reading with me if you want, but I can't pull up your chart in the middle of the live stream. Sorry. We judge all too easily. Yeah. And everyone expresses themselves differently. Absolutely, Bailey. Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about the Lionsgate portal. Let's briefly tap into the numerology of the number 8. I'm not a numerologist. I just consult the Google and pull the information and report it back to you, right? But if you do want to do a deeper dive into numerology, I did have a professional numerologist on The Spiritual Journalist at the beginning of the year. So you can go find that at thespiritualjournalist.com/join the conversation. Felicia Bender is a wealth of knowledge about numerology. She also has her own website, feliciabender.com, I believe, where you can kind of look into the different archetypes that the numbers hold and all the different numbers that represent you and your life path, all that good stuff. But we're just going to talk about the basics of the number 8. So there's a reason we, at least in modern society, have dubbed 8-8 the peak of the Lionsgate portal, because the number 8 is representative of abundance and luck. This is a really lucky day. And in numerology, anytime a number is doubled, its power is amplified, right? Makes sense. So the number 8 in numerology represents not only luck, but if you turn 8 on its side, it's an infinity symbol. So abundance, right? Infinite possibilities. Also, the number 8 represents balance because it's a balanced number. When you literally look at it, you know, it's the same on top as it is on the bottom. So yes, it's like abundance, luck, but there's also an element of balance here, which is really nice because too much can be too much, you know, speaking of too much. In Chinese culture, the number 8 is considered the luckiest number of all, and it's they purposely work it into like wedding dates, birth dates, addresses, finances. Even people who are really into numerology will purposely name their children or name things so that they will be the number 8, because numerology works a lot with like the number of letters in your name, and it all has this equation that comes down to one number. So a lot of people who are into numerology try to make it so their kids' names are 8s, or their birthdays, or their wedding dates, because 8 also represents accomplishment, wealth, abundance. To me, and this is just intuitive, this is not a fact, 8 to me feels a lot like Jupiter energy. It's very expansive, it's very abundant. That's just how I see it personally. When I feel the number 8, I just feel like abundance, right? Infinite possibilities, Jupiter, more is more. So today's a day where it's like, go big or go home, but don't go home, just go big. I think today is a really powerful day for manifestation because we're in the Lionsgate portal, because if we're open, we can receive new insights, and it's a really powerful day to speak your desires to the universe, manifest in whatever way feels good for you. Maybe tap into your heart because it's Leo season, maybe do a meditation. Really be open to receiving things, but also be open, as we talked about with the number 8, with balance. As much as we're willing to receive, also be willing to put out to the universe what you want to happen, what you want to manifest, what you want more of. I always share my mentor, Kat, who I talk about on here all the time. She always uses the phrase, more of this, please. So appreciating, as we come into the full moon, appreciating what's already working out and saying, more of this, please. That to me feels like the number 8. It's not only about receiving, but about giving. And so being open to receive insights, but also being open to share what we want more of. All right, so that's all the woo-woo stuff we're going to talk about as far as this powerful date, the numerology, the Lionsgate portal, the spirituality behind it. There are also some major transits going on today that in some part play into this energy. So the first one we're going to talk about is the Sun harmonizing with Chiron, which is happening as we speak, almost exact. It'll be exact at 1 p.m. You can see on our chart here, the sun is at 16 degrees, Chiron is at 16 degrees. That dark blue line is a harmonious, balanced trine. As we're talking about balance, this is the most balanced aspect we can talk about. Now, the sun and Chiron, of course, the sun representing our personality, our consciousness, our energy levels, our vitality. Chiron being the wounded healer, representing our deepest wounds and our ability to heal those wounds and then share that healing with others. Chiron was, in mythology, again, going back to the origins of the meanings of these placements in planets, Chiron was doomed to never heal himself. And so he searched and found all of these healing modalities, and he learned how to heal other people. He was a wealth of knowledge because he was constantly in pursuit of healing himself. So for us, Chiron is that deep wound within us, and we do have the ability to heal it and then use those modalities that we've learned to heal others. With the sun harmonizing with Chiron today, whatever insights are coming through with the Lionsgate portal can be extremely healing. This amplifies the healing potential of this day and of this season. Really want to tap into our heart with the sun in Leo ruling our heart space. And we can reflect because, remember, Chiron is now retrograde. So there's an element of reflection here, of going back, reviewing. This is a great time to review how much we've already healed, how far we've come in our healing journey, and also to recognize where we might have some more potential to heal, right? Where there's more room to do more healing. And when we recognize, hey, kind of going back to Lilith, this has still been hiding in the darkness. My fear of being too much is something I want to heal, or my fear of being seen is something I want to heal. Recognizing that, opening our crown chakra, being open to insights can bring through new modalities or new realizations that are healing. So just the recognition of our healing journey can be one of those insights that flows through during the Lionsgate portal. there's always opportunity to find more peace in our experience. We all have trauma. We all have wounding. It's part of being human. We didn't come here for an easy ride. We came here to learn a lot along the way, and our healing journey is part of that, individually and collectively. So, there could be some collective wounds that you're realizing right now as well. And the insights you gain during the Lionsgate portal can bring through ideas or offerings that you can use to help heal the collective, that you can offer to your community. It just feels like if you're on it, specifically feel like you're in the middle of a healing journey or you're in the middle of healing something, the Lionsgate portal, the abundant energy of this day, can bring you new insights as to how to do that. And all we have to do is be open. That's really all we have to do, is stay open. So there's great healing potential today. In short, healing is possible today. Even an aha thought, idea, meditation, sign, a butterfly flying by, or whatever your sign might be from a loved one. The veil is thin right now during this really potent time. That can be healing in itself. Just knowing you're not alone, knowing that your loved ones on the other side are with you, sending you guidance, or discovering that maybe you are Sirian and you're a starseed. That can be healing in itself too. So this is a very unique thing. Anytime we talk about Chiron, it's very unique to you as an individual, but wherever you're at on your healing journey, there's potential to make big leaps and bounds today. The other major transit we'll talk about, not so sunny. Venus is opposing Pluto late tonight. This happens at about 10:30 p.m. Pacific time. I almost saved this transit to talk about tomorrow, but we're really going to be feeling it at the end of the day, and I do want you to have a heads up. So Venus being the planet of love, beauty, and money, Pluto being the planet of death and rebirth, of our shadows. As we've been talking a lot about what's been hiding in the shadows, those things can really come out through relating to others with Venus opposing Pluto. Power plays, manipulation tactics are possible, not just from the person on the other side of the relationship, but you could realize, where am I trying to control? Where am I maybe being overpowering in a relationship? And relationships are mirrors. They're our greatest learning opportunities. One of my good friends recently posted something about whenever you are, with a partner, especially because romantic relationships usually are the most triggering. They really open us up. But even in sibling relationships, friendships, parental relationships, oftentimes when we're telling people like, you should do this, or I really wish you would do this, or I don't like it when you do this, we're just reflecting back to ourselves something that we do. Try it next time you're like being critical of someone else or wishing they did something differently, and ask, like, do I do that? Do I ever do that? Because that is the most humbling exercise. Let me tell you, I've started doing that. Like, oh, I just want you to do this. And I'm like, wait, I'm not doing that. Like, I want myself to do that. And that's why it's triggering me so much. So that's one healing potential of Venus opposing Pluto. If we can have that nice, 300-foot view of the situation, but it might be difficult to do that because Pluto adds intensity. Now, Pluto is also associated with transformation. So there is a transformative potential with Venus opposing Pluto, especially because Pluto is retrograde. You might be looking back on the transformation that's already happened in your relationship. But just in general, you might have some intense, maybe angry, maybe volatile moments in relationships tonight, even tomorrow morning. So just be kind, be patient, don't let that get the best of you. And sometimes we have to go through those difficult moments to have the aha moments on the other side, which can definitely come through with all the energy we've been talking about. Just be careful not to get too swept away in a feeling, especially with Venus in Cancer. Our emotions feel like they are how we relate, by sharing our emotions, by like being the emotion, and so it can be really easy to get caught up in that feeling and that turn into a really tumultuous situation with Venus opposing Pluto. We just don't want to be aggressive. We don't want to put a dark damper on this really bright, powerful day by being manipulative or controlling, right? Venus also rules money and beauty, as I mentioned. So watch out for compulsion, compulsive tendencies with money. It could be like, I'm just going to blow all my money on this thing and be really intense or obsessive about it. Or beauty, you know, we might want to be like, I'm going to cut all my hair off and have this like major transformation because Venus is opposing Pluto and I feel all the things right now and I don't want to feel the things, so I'm going to make a major intense change. Let's not do that. It could cause some regret later. Today is not a day to make drastic decisions about love, money, or beauty. None of those things. I would suggest doing something crazy. If you have this idea or insight and you're like, I will just use the hair, for example. I want to cut off all my hair. It's going to be so liberating and so freeing. And the Lionsgate portal is telling me to do it. Great. Hold on to that thought. Maybe wait until like after the full moon. You can still have the idea from the Lionsgate portal. You don't necessarily have to act on it today or tonight or right this moment. We just want to make sure that we don't play into a compulsion and then regret it later, you know? So be kind in relationships. Try not to let your emotions get the best of you. And know that any intense moments that are popping up right now are aligned with the transits. And ask in these intense moments, what is this teaching me? What am I here to learn right now? That can be a really helpful way to navigate powerful emotions and maybe learn from them rather than just being like, ugh, why is this happening, you know? Rachel says, so comforting. I had counseling today. So glad to hear the energy is aligned. Definitely. Lots of healing happening, but feeling grounded and really proud of myself today. I'm proud of you too. Just the fact that you're going to counseling and you're open to these things, that's amazing. And you should definitely be proud of yourself. And I have a feeling whatever comes through in your counseling session today could be very profound. Because of all of the energy that's happening, and maybe create a turning point in your relationship or a transformation in your relationship just from whatever you talk about with your counselor today. So there's a lot of potential for transitions to happen out of today's energy. This doesn't have to be all bad, this opposition between Venus and Pluto, because you know, an opposition is like a make or break energy. And yeah, it can be the break, it can be the breakdown, it can be the death, you know, with Pluto in the mix, but it can also be the rebirth, that thing that we need to see that's been hiding down deep in the shadows that allows us to be whole and be reborn and have these powerful realizations in our relationships or just in our love for ourselves and our love for others. Love definitely plays a big factor in this. Bailey says, yes. We judge all too easily. Oh, we already read that, but it popped back up. Maybe we needed to see it again. I love this community and bringing awareness to all of this. We needed to see it again, I guess. Nikki says, yes, energy is different today. Not inspired to change my look today. Love is not in the air. Well, you know, that's probably a good thing because, you know, it's intense when it comes to love and changing our beauty today. Oh, good. Feeling very grounded and reflective. That's beautiful. Great energy to be in, to be open, right? Part of being open to like receiving new information or new insights is not being so emotionally activated. When we're grounded, when we're open to reflection, when we're just kind of at peace with ourselves, we can be a clear channel and more open to whatever messages the universe is trying to send us. It's often when we're like, go, go, go. We're so like, oh, I feel this way that we kind of block ourselves from receiving what we need to know in the moment. Is it normal to have insomnia in this transit? Last week, waiting to end this week. Nikki, I am so glad you asked that, and perfect timing because the next transit we're going to talk about has to do with sleep. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you in the comments, Nancy. This is my aunt. And I did not know my great-grandmother was born on 8808. I had no idea. So amazing. Like, that's one of my Lionsgate portal insights that's coming through. Which great-grandmother was this? Who was she? Was it Antoinette? Was it Gigi? Give me the lowdown. I need to like connect now. This is so cool. I'm so excited. While we're waiting for that information to come through, let's move on to what's going on with the moon. So the moon was in Sagittarius to start the morning and making its final connections in Sagittarius, the final connection being a square to Neptune. So I believe it was Nikki who asked about insomnia. Oh, Gigi. Gigi was born on 8808. That is amazing. That makes me so excited. Thank you for sharing that with me. Oh, I'm just like buzzing now. Okay, so let's talk about the moon squaring Neptune. Let me know if you've been having vivid dreams, crazy dreams lately, because mine have been next level. They've been so wild every night over the weekend, just like weird, vivid dreams. And I actually asked this on my Instagram stories today. Has anybody else been experiencing crazy dreams? And every single person said at least some weird dreams or lots of weird dreams. So the moon formed a harmony with Neptune on Friday night into Saturday. We talked about this on Friday. So a lot of insights came through our dreams. The moon squaring Neptune can have kind of two different effects. It can cause restless sleep, so what Nikki was talking about with insomnia, or it can cause like weird, aggressive, shocking dreams too. For example, I had a dream last night that someone snuck into my backyard overnight and like painted this huge mural in my backyard. And I was like, that's cool, but you also just trespassed and like I feel really violated. And then there was like this aggressive, like argument that came out of it. And I was like, what was that all about? Like, what does that even mean? So yeah, insomnia or really vivid dreams are kind of two possibilities when the moon squares Neptune. We have a lot of emotional energy with the moon in Sagittarius, or we did at least this morning. There was a lot of like, go, 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 do more. Yes, it's not a very low-key energy, but then Neptune in Pisces just wants us to rest and be in our subconscious. So that can either be like, oh, I can't get there, like the Sagittarius moon is just keeping me awake, or like kind of playing out that energy through your dreams, like having a lot of energy in your dreams come through, if that makes sense. So it's like Neptune in Pisces is trying to sort things out in our subconscious mind, while the Sagittarius moon just wants us to keep going and expanding and doing and being and sharing, So this can kind of cause some confusion about what messages that are coming through our dreams are important and what's just kind of like spontaneous neurons firing off in our brains. The Sagittarius moon feels like a lot of spontaneous neurons going off. So insomnia, that could definitely be a byproduct of it, like not being able to fully get into a restful state. Even having wild dreams, it's not the most like restful experience, I like a good night of sleep where I just don't dream about anything personally. I'm just out like a light. That's like sleeping like a rock. That's a good night of sleep for me. And lately it's just been a lot. I mean, not even just the past 3 days. I've been having a lot of restless sleep or waking up at like 4 or 5 a.m. and then going back to sleep. So you're not alone. You're not alone, Nikki, if you've been having some weird sleep patterns. And actually, Bailey says, I am a good sleeper in this last week. I've been up so often and such vivid dreams as well. Same here. Yeah, it's not just the vivid dreams. I've been waking up, and then when I fall back asleep is when I end up having a lot of the weird, vivid dreams. And I'll wake up and tell my partner, like, I just had the weirdest dream. And I don't see any, like sometimes I'll be able to see like, okay, I can tell this is what I'm sorting through, but I have no idea. If anybody has insights on what it means when someone sneaks into your backyard and paints your garage, that's what I dreamed about last night. Ooh. Also, I don't know if this would have anything to do with it, but we've had so many thunderstorms here in Reno. Really? We are not getting any thunderstorms in Sacramento. I'm loving it, but it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would have to do with astrology, but it's definitely like the supercharged energy right now. I think a lot of people are feeling it. There's a lot of energy. It's very like potent, and a thunderstorm feels very representative of that. I think Rachel was talking about thunderstorms last week too, because thunder, it's like there's different pressures creating thunder, creating the lightning, definitely adding to the intensity. So let's move into the final transits of our forecast. The moon was void for most of the morning, from about 6 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And it's part of the reason why I wanted to start this live stream a little later, because anything we start under a void moon really doesn't amount to much. But the moon did move into Capricorn at 11:39 a.m. So the moon will be in Capricorn over the next 2 days or so. And the moon does not like to be in Capricorn. This is the weakest placement for the moon. Now, that's to say, if you have a Capricorn moon, nothing is wrong with you, but it might take you a little more effort to tap into your intuition depending on your other placements in your birth chart. We're all a little bit more distanced from our emotions, from our intuition. It's like we're more emotionally cold when the moon is in Capricorn. Definitely more of that Capricorn energy. And rather than processing our emotions through feeling it all and being emotional and sharing with other people, or, under fire signs, we process our emotions through moving our body and going out and having fun. When the moon is in Capricorn, it's like, let's sort through things logically here. We are not as into our emotions and we're more into our logic, and that's how we're processing things. We're more concerned with practical, responsible solutions to emotional issues. And we might find ourselves really thinking about the long term and our plans 5 years, 10 years from now with the moon in the sign of Capricorn, which is associated with our long-term goals. So this kind of takes us out of the present moment a little bit and more looking at the big picture or the long term of things. And I really feel like that's kind of where the disconnection from our intuition comes in, because in order to be tapped into our intuition, we have to be in the present moment. We really have to be in like what we're feeling right now. And the moon in Capricorn takes us out of that. That's not to say you can't have intuitive downloads come through right now. There's a lot of other energy opening us up to otherworldly realizations, but you'll probably find yourself either second guessing what comes through or like, does this make sense? Logically, how can I make this make sense? So it's almost like the Capricorn moon puts a little bit of a damper on this really expansive spiritual energy. And if you have a Capricorn moon, this might be actually nice for you, but wait until the moon moves into Aquarius. Then all of our inner weirdos are going to come out, especially under the full moon. I've been napping during the day, but also staying up at night, yet you woke up early this morning and got a lot of things done. So your sleep cycle is off in a different way, Maribel. But interesting that, the moon squaring Neptune, everything going on with Neptune. Also, Neptune is retrograde. We have a lot of retrograde planets right now, but you might be falling back into old sleep patterns as well, just in general with Neptune being retrograde. So the moon's in Capricorn. The moon doesn't make any connections through the end of the day today. In the background, we still have Venus harmonizing with Neptune, Mars squaring Saturn, and Uranus conjunct the North Node. All things we talked about over the weekend that were really playing out on Sunday. You can see Venus at 26 degrees, harmonizing with Neptune at 25 degrees, helping us tap into that higher love, that higher understanding. And Mars squaring Saturn can feel like similar to the Capricorn moon energy, like, does it make sense? And what lessons are we learning? And kind of putting blocks in our path. But these two energies balance each other out really nicely, because one is very loving and compassionate and the other is much more serious and, hey, stop and do things in a logical way, or what are your motivations? So we've got a lot of energy playing out all at the same time. It's affecting us all differently based on our charts. So, if you haven't already gotten a copy of your birth chart, you can do that on my website. Just scan the QR code in the corner and you can see, okay, is there anything opposing or conjunct in my chart right now? Maybe take a look at where Lilith or 14 degrees Cancer is in your chart, because that's where Sirius is. Everything we've been talking about with the Lionsgate portal, that could be a fun little place to look and see what area of your chart is the Lionsgate portal activating. What area of your chart is the moon moving into, with the moon moving into Capricorn, then Aquarius, getting a preview of what this full moon is bringing up for you. So there's a lot of different things you can kind of touch on in your chart right now. It might feel a little overwhelming with how much is going on, how many transits we've been talking about, but I think this is a great point to bring up our affirmation of the day. I'm open to receive. I'm open to receive, because sometimes trying to make sense of it all or manifest all the things, and we're going to use the Lionsgate portal and we're going to put our desires out to the universe and hope they manifest, sometimes that can feel overwhelming or forceful. 111, as I said that here on the on the West Coast. So just being open to receive new information, open to receive messages from the universe, from God, from spirit. I think that personally is the best way to use this energy. Open to receive weird messages in your dreams too, paying attention to what's coming through and maybe not taking everything as a serious message, but if something is sticking with you, like, what does that mean? And just kind of letting yourself stay open to whatever messages are coming through in whatever ways they're trying to come through. All right, and we'll end today's episode with our tarot pull. Of course, I have to pull from the Starseed Oracle deck since we talked so much about starseeds and Sirius being one of the starseed species, Sirians. So we'll see what else needs to come through. You know the drill. This is your time to ask any final questions, share any final insights as I shuffle up these cards. When does the heaviness subside from this transit? That's a great question. I'd have to see your chart and really see where the heaviness is coming for you, or at least know maybe your rising sign or your moon sign. But I would invite you, without knowing any of that, to just be open to the release. Be open to new information coming in. There's a really abundant time to have these realizations, or understand how do I get rid of this heaviness? What do I need to release? I will say, for all of us, the full moon on Thursday is this peak, this culmination, right? The full moon is like a full cup. The moon is full. And then after the full moon is when we're all entering the releasing phase. So just in general, it feels like the energy is going to keep building until the full moon, and then we'll have a nice release after the full moon into next week. So hang in there, stay open, and if you need to take some alone time, a Capricorn moon is a great time to just take some alone time, isolate yourself, sort things through on your own, maybe just be in solitude or stillness for a little bit. All right, what do we need to know? Let's find out what message wants to come through. This card keeps coming through for me in this deck. The 7 Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, and Expression. This card came through during my episode with Veronica Lee about the Akashic Records. I think it came through the next week too. And the 7 Star Sisters represent another starseed group beings, I don't know. And they're located in Orion's belt, which is definitely activated during the Lionsgate portal. So here's what this says. There are new creations that want to be born, beauty that's yearning to be woven, new consciousness that's longing to be breathed into life. If you draw this card, you're being called to surrender to these creations, to usher in a new era of consciousness and do your bit in weaving the web of life. This is the card of the artist and the midwife. You're being called to ponder questions. What wants to be birthed through you? What new creations are whispering in your ear? What beauty are you being called to make? Creativity and intuition come from the same sacred place. A dark place, right? Just an aside there. Creativity and intuition are born from the womb space. They occur when we find ourselves flowing with the rest of life. Earth is renowned as a planet of manifestation and creativity, and yet so many of us have forgotten how to create. Somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing ourselves as the artists, the creatives, the poets. Yet to be human is to be creative. Creativity is part of your true nature. Perhaps you're being called to surrender to a creative project like a new business or a book, or perhaps you're being called to weave beauty in your home or in the way you cook. Regardless of the end result, you're being called to express yourself through your creativity, to surrender to the creative projects that both scare and excite you, to find a way to weave beauty back into everyday life. For where there's creativity, spirit and soul are present, and the world needs those qualities more now than ever before. What new creations are you being called to birth? This card really wants me to pay attention to it. It keeps coming through, which is so wild. But I love how this talks about surrendering to being open to whatever creations want to be birthed through you, flowing with life, but also new consciousness that's longing to be breathed into life. So maybe you're meant to create something you haven't even thought of yet. And this Lionsgate portal, this powerful day, 8/8, is a time to be open to new creations, new ideas. Abundance can flow through us if we are open to it, right? And you know, as I was reading that, I realized we didn't do birthdays at the top of the show. So I do want to wish a very happy birthday, to my great-grandmother, Gigi, who is no longer with us, but I just learned during this live stream was born on 8/8/1908. What a powerful day to be born, a powerful woman who I would not be here without. So happy birthday to my great-grandmother, and a happy birthday to my beautiful friend Jamie of Trek Nectar. She was born on 8/8 as well, and she's just a bright soul and a bright light in my life, and want to send her some birthday wishes. Yes, open to receive abundance, Pamela. And just for fun, let's see. Some other 8/8 birthdays: Roger Federer, Shawn Mendes, Dustin Hoffman, Princess Beatrice. Anybody else? Interesting 8/8 birthdays. Not quite as special or cool. Oh, Esther Williams. Okay. Most of them don't hold a candle to my great-grandma or to my friend Jamie, let me just say. But happy birthday to them nonetheless, and to anybody in your life who is celebrating a birthday today as well. I hope this episode helped you align with the abundant energy of the day today. I'll be back tomorrow with a new episode of The Spiritual Journalist with Bailey and Lorianne Code. They are the founders and creators of Recharge the Soul. They hold women's retreats all over the world. So we're going to be talking about the power of bringing women together, the healing potential of bringing women together. And we'll be back with another episode of Transits today as well. We are almost to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, my friends. And we're doing a giveaway to get there, about 25 more subscribers to hit that 1,000 mark. And hitting 1,000 subscribers allows us to finally monetize this channel, keep these videos coming to you for free every single day. So if you haven't subscribed, now is a great time to do it. It's completely free to you. And if you want to enter a giveaway for a free astrology reading with me, all you have to do is share about this live stream on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Just make sure you tag me at Olivia DeGennaro. You can see it right up here, so that I can see that you've entered the giveaway. And once we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, we'll do a fun giveaway on the live stream here and see who wins the free astrology reading. 8 + 8 is 7, which goes with the card. Mind blown. I'm so glad you said that. So in numerology, if you're like, wait, what? 8 + 8 is 7. You always condense numbers in numerology unless it's a master number like 11, 22, or 33. So 8 + 8 is 16. You add 1 and 6, and it's a 7, which means that the 7 Star Sisters card is very aligned when we're talking about the number 7. I'm so glad you brought that up. I have like chills. That's so cool. And on that note, 2022 is a really powerful year as well. It's a 6 year, but we have the 222. The last time we had that was 1999. And the next time the human race will see that is in 3033. So, you know, it's a powerful year. It's a powerful day. We'll see, you know, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, again on 9/9 and 10/10 and 11/11 and 12/12. But yeah, how cool. I'm so grateful that you shared that. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this episode of Transits today. I'm so grateful you showed up for yourself today. I'm so grateful you continue to show up for this amazing community we're building together online every day. I love you all. I hope that you have some beautiful realizations out of the Lionsgate portal. Remember, it's not just today, it's all week long. So if you're not having any aha moments today, that doesn't mean they won't come through. Just stay open to receive. I will see you all right back here tomorrow morning, but until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.